Well, my name is Warren Friesen. I live in Winkler, raised in Schonsenfeld. I would probably identify myself first and foremost as a father, always, of two daughters, adult daughters by now, guidance counselor at a high school, as a musician, amateur musician, songwriter. Because I grew up as a very happy kid in the village, but towards my junior high year and that kind of thing, or even earlier, I was always a very, very anxious kid. Junior high, I was bullied and teased relentlessly. Didn't want to go to school. When I hit high school, I guess I was able to reinvent myself, surround myself with different friends. So things were very, very good in high school. But then I started my second year of post-secondary at CNBC, and something went wrong in my mind, so to speak. I got extremely anxious, sense of doom that I just could not explain. So that's when I knew that something was not quite right. Started seeing counselors, doctors, but eventually heard the words clinical depression for the first time. From there, it was trying to come to grips with or understand what that meant. And you hear the words mental illness, because I wanted to know whether I still had faculties or had the capability of understanding stuff and thought processes. Everything was fine. I could still read, understand, hold conversations. I felt like crap, depressed, sense of doom. I've never attempted suicide, however, I've thought about it. Had and still have parents, and they're in their twilight years, so to speak, but they're still checking up and seeing how I'm doing. Siblings who check to see how I'm doing, and friends and church community and all of that. More than willing to talk to people and say, I deal with clinical depression. My father dealt with depression in his early years of marriage, and he tells a story of a well-intentioned neighbor who said, get dressed, pull yourself up by your bootstraps and get going, Isaac. That's probably one of the worst things you could say to somebody dealing with a mental health issue or depression. You knew that they dealt with diabetes, you wouldn't go up to them and say, why? What happened? Sometimes you are depressed because of the illness. As a Christian, my faith has been extremely important to me and helpful. Faith, if you had more faith, you wouldn't be depressed. That one is one of my biggest pet peeves. And it heaps guilt on a person. And the last thing a depressed person needs is more guilt. It is therapeutic for me to talk about it. If I share my story with somebody, and it brings them that moment of, hey, me too, I'm not the only person, because there is still this stigma that's out there, and a whole lot less than it used to be, thank goodness. And if I can bring that kind of relief, because people have given me that relief, then there's this sense of, gosh, this dark road has not been for naught. Then I love seeing that on a person's face, and then they can start talking about it. And when they can start freely talking about it without shame, without a sense of lifts a burden like nothing else. When you see all these people that went back into the crowd in Vegas to help, and then they're interviewed and they're saying, I'm not a hero, I'm just did it because it's the right thing to do. Then everybody that does those kind of things for people are heroes. Everybody's goal in this world should see, well, what kind of hero can I be today?